Why do most traders fail, even when they already know exactly what to do? Think about it. You've studied the charts, you've learned the strategies, you've planned the trade. But when the time comes to pull the trigger, something takes over. Fear creeps in. Doubt whispers in your ear. Greed tells you to hold longer than you should. And in just a few seconds, everything unravels. The market punishes you, not because you didn't know what to do, but because you couldn't control yourself. This is the painful reality most traders live in. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's not about missing the perfect system. The real battle is happening inside your head. And if you've ever blown up an account, taken trades you swore you wouldn't, or felt crushed after an emotional decision, then you already know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's the truth. You don't have to stay stuck in that cycle. Today, we're going beyond strategies and indicators. We're diving into the timeless lessons of Mark Douglas and uncovering the psychological shifts that separate broken traders from disciplined winners. Because if you don't fix this, no strategy will ever save you.
Most traders believe they're just one secret strategy away from success. One more indicator, one more pattern, one more so-called holy grail. But if that were true, then why are the majority of traders still losing money, even after reading books, watching videos, or following proven systems? The answer is simple, and yet it's the hardest pill to swallow. It isn't the market that's beating you, it's you. And this is exactly what Mark Douglas, one of the greatest minds in trading psychology, spent his life teaching. In his groundbreaking book, The Disciplined Trader, Douglas reveals that the market is never your enemy. The charts don't care about you. Price action isn't personal. What causes pain, frustration, and blown accounts is the way we think about trading, the way we respond emotionally to wins, losses, risk, and uncertainty. Now, you may have heard of Mark Douglas from his other masterpiece, Trading in the Zone, but The Disciplined Trader was the foundation, the book that exposed the mental traps that keep traders stuck. Douglas wrote it for people exactly like you, traders who know what to do but can't seem to do it consistently. Traders who get caught in hesitation, self-sabotage, revenge trades, or the crushing need to be right. Here's why this matters. If you've ever felt like your emotions control your trading more than your plan does, then you're not broken, you're not hopeless. You're simply running on mental patterns that haven't been rewired yet. And until you make that psychological shift, no amount of technical knowledge will save you. You'll keep repeating the same cycle: confidence before the trade, fear during the trade, regret after the trade. That's where this video comes in. This isn't another surface-level motivational talk, and it's definitely not a get-rich-quick strategy video. This is a deep dive into the psychology that actually works, the exact principles from The Disciplined Trader that, if applied, can free you from emotional sabotage and help you finally trade with consistency and clarity. In the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the illusions that keep you stuck, the shift that happens when you start thinking in probabilities, and what it really feels like to enter that flow state traders call the zone. We'll also break down the 5 stages of trader psychology so you can see exactly where you are in your journey and what's required to get to the next level. By the end, you'll understand that trading success isn't about predicting the market, it's about mastering yourself. Because once you build discipline and emotional resilience, you become the trader the market can't break. So, let's dive into the lessons from Mark Douglas and start reshaping the way you think about trading forever.
Lesson 1. The illusion that destroys traders. One of the most dangerous traps in trading is the illusion of control, or maybe more accurately, the illusion that the market itself is the problem. Almost every struggling trader falls into this mindset. They believe that if only the market moved the way it should, they would be profitable. They think losses happen because the market tricked them, manipulated them, or somehow acted unfairly. But here's the hard truth. The market is never out to get you. It isn't personal. It isn't emotional. The market is simply movement, a constant flow of buying and selling driven by millions of participants. It doesn't care whether you win or lose. Yet traders act as if it does. After a loss, they curse the market. After a fake breakout, they feel betrayed. After a stop hunt, They believe the market is designed to target them, and in that illusion, they give away all their power. Because the moment you see the market as an opponent, you've already lost. You're fighting the wrong battle. Let me paint a picture. Imagine sitting at a roulette table in Las Vegas. You put your chips on red, the wheel spins, and it lands on black. Do you blame the wheel for being unfair? Do you think the casino personally conspired against you? Of course not. You accept that it's probabilities at play. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's the game. Yet in trading, people refuse to see it that way. They act as if the market owes them a win for following the rules, as if the chart should reward their effort. This illusion is what destroys traders. They chase certainty in a world that offers only probability. They believe that if they just study harder, analyze longer, or find the perfect strategy, the losses will disappear. But that's not reality. Losses are not proof of failure, they're simply part of the distribution. Mark Douglas explained it clearly. Every trade is nothing more than a single event within a larger series of outcomes. No one trade matters. What matters is the edge you're executing and how consistently you can follow it. The illusion comes from treating each trade like a test of your intelligence, your worth, or your ability to beat the market. That mindset guarantees frustration, emotional swings, and eventually, blown accounts. Think about your own trading. Have you ever felt personally attacked when the market spiked against you right after you entered? Have you ever told yourself, it's like the market knows exactly what I'm doing? That's the illusion in action. It feels real, but it's just your brain projecting fear and frustration onto neutral price action. The breakthrough comes when you finally accept the truth. The market owes you nothing. It doesn't know you exist. It's not out to get you, nor is it here to reward you. The only thing you can truly control is yourself, your mindset, your discipline, your ability to think in probabilities. Once you drop the illusion, you stop fighting the market and start working with it. This shift is liberating. Suddenly, a loss is no longer an emotional wound, it's just part of the process. A win isn't a validation of your intelligence. It's simply a favorable outcome within the probabilities. You stop needing the market to behave a certain way, and instead you adapt to however it unfolds. That's the essence of becoming a disciplined trader. Mark Douglas often said that trading is not about predicting the market, it's about aligning yourself with the reality of uncertainty. And once you embrace that reality, you reclaim your power. Because while you can't control the outcome of any single trade, you can control how you think, how you act, and how you respond. And that, more than any strategy or indicator, is what separates traders who break from traders who endure.
Lesson 2, thinking in probabilities. If there's one mental shift that can completely transform your trading, it's this: learning to think in probabilities. Most traders say they understand probabilities, but their actions prove otherwise. They treat every trade like it's supposed to be the one that makes back all their losses, the one that validates their strategy, the one that proves they're finally good enough to be a real trader. But here's the truth: no single trade matters, not one. Imagine flipping a coin. You know the odds: 50% heads, 50% tails. If you flip it 10 times, you might get 5 heads and 5 tails, or maybe 7 heads and 3 tails. But if you flip it 1,000 times, the results always move closer to that 50-50 distribution. That's probability at work. Now here's the kicker. If you flip a coin once and it lands on tails, do you call yourself a failure? Do you get angry at the coin? Of course not. But traders do this every day. They take one losing trade and treat it like a personal indictment of their skill. They take 3 losses in a row and think their strategy is broken. They can't handle the randomness of the short term because they're stuck in the illusion of certainty.
Mark Douglas said it best. Anything can happen in the market. Any trade can be a loser, even if the setup is perfect. And any terrible-looking trade can sometimes win. The outcome of a single trade is always uncertain, but across a large enough series, the probabilities play out. That's why professional traders don't obsess over one outcome. They focus on the series. Think of it this way. Your edge, whatever rules or system you follow, is like a casino game. The casino doesn't care if one gambler wins big at a blackjack table, because they know, across thousands of hands, the house edge always wins. That's why casinos are billion-dollar businesses. They understand probability. Traders who survive long enough eventually realize they need to think the same way. Here's what happens when you embrace this mindset. Suddenly the pressure lifts. You stop needing every trade to work out. You stop chasing the fantasy of perfection. Instead, you accept losses as part of the process, just like wins. Each outcome becomes simply another data point in the series. And this frees you to follow your plan with consistency. But here's the emotional challenge. Your brain is wired to want certainty. It craves closure. It wants to believe that if you follow the rules, you deserve a reward. When the market gives you the opposite, your mind rebels. That's when fear and revenge trading show up. That's when you abandon your system. To break free, you must reprogram how you see the market. You must internalize the reality that anything can happen on any trade. Once you accept this, something powerful happens. You stop attaching your self-worth to outcomes. A loss doesn't mean you're a bad trader. A win doesn't mean you're a genius. Both are just the unfolding of probability. Think about the freedom in that. You're no longer crushed by losses. You're no longer inflated by wins. You simply execute your edge again and again, knowing that over time, probabilities tilt in your favor. This is how discipline is born. Mark Douglas emphasized that trading is really about building a mindset that sees uncertainty not as a threat, but as the natural environment of the game. When you finally accept that, you stop fighting reality and start flowing with it. And here's the real secret. Once you train yourself to think in probabilities, trading becomes less emotional, less stressful, and far more consistent. You start to feel calm even in chaos. You stop needing to know what happens next because you trust your edge over the long run. That's the shift, from chasing certainty to embracing probability, from needing to be right to focusing on execution, from reacting emotionally to trading with confidence and detachment. And once you make this shift, you've taken your first real step toward trading in the zone. Lesson 3. Escaping emotional trading. If thinking in probabilities is the mindset shift that changes everything, then escaping emotional trading is the battlefield where that shift is tested. Because let's be honest, every trader knows what emotional trading feels like. You plan your trade, you wait for the setup, but once you're in the position, your brain transforms into a war zone. Every tick up or down feels like a personal attack. You start second-guessing, doubting, panicking, hoping. And before you know it, the plan you swore you would follow is out the window. This is the emotional cycle most traders live in. It starts with excitement. You spot a setup, and your heart races with anticipation. You think, this is the one. Then comes fear. Price wiggles against you, and suddenly, you're sweating. Your mind floods with thoughts. What if I lose? What if I'm wrong? What if my account takes another hit? That fear quickly morphs into impulse. You close the trade too early, or worse, you hold on too long hoping it will turn. Then the loss comes, and with it, regret. That regret often fuels revenge trading. You jump into another position, desperate to make the money back, only to dig yourself deeper into the hole. Sound familiar? That's emotional trading. And here's the harsh reality. If you don't escape this cycle,
it will eventually destroy you as a trader. Mark Douglas makes it clear, discipline isn't about suppressing emotions. It's not about pretending fear or greed don't exist. Those emotions are part of being human. Discipline is about learning how to rise above them, to act independently of how you feel in a moment. It's about creating a mindset where your decisions are based on probabilities and rules, not impulses. Let's go back to the casino example. Imagine if the owner of a casino personally placed every bet, reacting emotionally to each hand of blackjack. They'd be broke in a week. Instead, they run the game based on probabilities. They let the math play out. That's exactly what you must do as a trader. Here's the breakthrough. When you embrace probabilities and detach your self-worth from outcomes, emotions lose their grip. Fear no longer paralyzes you because you know a single trade means nothing in the grand scheme. Greed no longer seduces you because you don't need to chase wins. And revenge no longer controls you because you understand losses are part of the process. But make no mistake, this doesn't happen automatically. You have to train yourself to respond differently. You have to build habits that anchor you in discipline even when your emotions scream at you to do the opposite. That means defining your rules clearly, sizing your positions properly, and committing to follow your plan no matter what happens in the short term. Think of it like building muscle. The first time you lift weights, your body resists. It's uncomfortable. But over time, with repetition, your strength grows. Escaping emotional trading works the same way. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you strengthen your psychological muscle. Eventually, discipline becomes second nature. Mark Douglas described this transformation beautifully. He said that once you internalize the principles of disciplined trading, execution becomes effortless. You stop battling yourself. You simply see the setup, place the trade, manage it according to your plan, and accept the outcome. Win or lose, your emotions no longer dictate your behavior. That's freedom. And that's why escaping emotional trading isn't just a step toward consistency, it's the foundation of mastery. Because when you finally stop letting fear, greed, and revenge control your decisions, you step into a completely different level of trading. A level where you no longer sabotage yourself. A level where you can begin to experience what traders call the zone. And that's exactly where we're heading next.
Lesson 4. What the zone really feels like. Every trader has heard the phrase, trading in the zone. It sounds almost mystical, like a secret state only the elite can reach. But what does it really mean? What does it actually feel like to be in the zone? Picture this. You're watching the markets and everything feels calm. There's no rush, no panic, no desperate need to trade. When your setup appears, you recognize it instantly, not with anxiety, but with clarity. You enter the trade without hesitation. You're not overanalyzing. You're not second-guessing. You're simply following your process. As the trade unfolds, you're present, fully aware, yet strangely detached. Whether the trade wins or loses doesn't shake you. You're executing with confidence, discipline, and flow. That's the zone. Mark Douglas described it as a state where trading becomes effortless. Not because it's easy, but because you've stripped away the internal conflict that normally sabotages you. In the zone, your emotions no longer interfere with execution. You're aligned with probabilities, you trust your edge, and you let the market do what it does without trying to control it. Athletes often call this state flow. Think of a basketball player who can't miss a shot, or a tennis player who anticipates every move before it happens. They're not consciously forcing each action. They're immersed in the game, reacting instinctively, fueled by years of discipline and preparation. Trading in the zone is the same. You're not trying to prove anything. You're simply letting your skills and mindset express themselves naturally. Now let's contrast this with how most traders operate. Instead of calm clarity,
They feel constant tension. They hesitate to pull the trigger. Then they hesitate to exit the trade. Their minds are cluttered with fear, greed, and endless what-if scenarios. They're either paralyzed by the possibility of loss or intoxicated by the fantasy of a big win. This is the opposite of the zone. It's chaos, and it's why so many traders self-destruct. So how do you shift from chaos to flow? The answer is psychological alignment. You must accept that anything can happen on any trade. You must detach from needing to be right and focus only on executing your edge. When you stop caring about the outcome of one trade, you release the pressure that causes hesitation and emotional sabotage. That's when trading starts to feel fluid. Here's the key. The zone isn't about perfection. You will still have losing trades. You will still make mistakes. But the difference is, those losses and mistakes don't rattle you anymore. They don't throw you off balance. You simply acknowledge them, adjust if necessary, and move on. You stay in the flow. Think about how liberating that is. Imagine no longer dreading a loss. Imagine no longer feeling the need to jump in and out of trades impulsively. Imagine approaching the market with the same calm detachment as a casino owner running a game. That's the zone. Freedom from the emotional roller coaster and the ability to trade with consistency and confidence. Mark Douglas often said that the zone isn't something you find by accident. It's something you create through discipline, self-awareness, and repetition. It's the natural result of thinking in probabilities, escaping emotional trading, and committing to your edge without interference. And here's the best part. Once you experience the zone, even just once, it changes everything. You get a glimpse of what's possible. You realize trading doesn't have to be stressful, chaotic, or emotionally draining. It can be calm, structured, and even enjoyable. That glimpse becomes your new standard. You know it's real. You know it's attainable. And from that moment on, your only goal is to build the consistency that allows you to stay there longer and longer. So when traders talk about trading in the zone, they're really talking about freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from greed, freedom from the endless tug of war between hope and regret. It's the place where discipline and intuition finally come together. And that's where real mastery begins.
Lesson 5. The 5 stages of trader psychology. Every trader wants success. But here's the truth. Trading mastery doesn't happen overnight. It's a progression, a journey through stages of psychological growth. And unless you understand these stages, you'll keep misjudging where you are, expecting results you're not yet ready for, and falling into frustration when reality doesn't match your expectations. Mark Douglas outlined a path of development that almost every trader experiences. Let's walk through the 5 stages, and as you hear them, think about where you are right now. Stage 1, unconscious incompetence. This is where everyone starts. You're excited. You're drawn to trading because of the freedom, the money, the dream of independence. You think it looks simple. You see the charts, you see strategies online, and you believe, I can do this. What you don't realize yet is that you have no idea what you don't know. Losses feel shocking. Mistakes feel unfair. And because you lack awareness, you blame the market, the broker, the strategy, anything but yourself. Stage 2, conscious incompetence. This is when reality sets in. You start realizing how difficult trading actually is. You see that knowledge alone doesn't guarantee success. You begin to notice your emotional reactions, fear, greed, revenge trading. You're painfully aware of your mistakes, but you don't yet have the discipline to stop them. This stage is frustrating. Many traders quit here because it feels overwhelming. But if you push through, you start building real self-awareness. Stage 3, conscious competence. Here, things start to change.
You've developed an edge, you have a set of rules, and you can follow them, but it requires effort. You're constantly checking yourself. You're reminding yourself not to overtrade, not to hesitate, not to break your plan. Trading feels like work, but you're beginning to see glimpses of consistency. Wins and losses still affect you emotionally, but you're learning to stay grounded. Stage 4, unconscious competence. This is where discipline becomes second nature. You don't have to force yourself to follow your rules. It's automatic. Emotions still show up, but they no longer control your actions. You've trained yourself to think in probabilities. You've escaped the cycle of emotional trading. Execution feels natural. This is when you begin to experience trading in the zone more consistently. Stage 5, mastery plus discipline plus intuition. This is the peak. At this stage, your discipline is unshakable, but you've also developed something deeper: intuition. Not intuition in the sense of random gut feelings, but intuition born from experience, probability thinking, and psychological alignment. You can sense market conditions, adapt effortlessly, and flow with uncertainty. Losses don't shake you, wins don't inflate you. You've become the trader the market cannot break. Now here's the critical insight. Most traders want to jump from stage 1 to stage 5 overnight. They want mastery without going through the pain of awareness, the grind of discipline, and the repetition of building habits. But there are no shortcuts. You must progress through the stages one at a time. And that's not a punishment. It's the process that shapes you into a trader who can survive and thrive in any market condition. So ask yourself honestly, which stage are you in right now? Are you still unaware of your mistakes? Are you painfully conscious of them but struggling to change? Or are you beginning to see discipline take root in your trading? Wherever you are, understand this: your stage is not your destiny. With time, practice, and the right psychological shifts, you can move forward. And once you understand these stages, you stop comparing yourself to others. You stop expecting mastery before you've built competence. You respect the journey, and that patience alone puts you ahead of most traders.
Lesson 6. Becoming the trader the market can't break. At this point, you've seen the illusions that destroy traders, the power of thinking in probabilities, the need to escape emotional trading, the clarity of the zone, and the stages of psychological growth. But the ultimate goal is bigger than all of these. The goal is to become the kind of trader the market can't break. Now let's be clear, the market will test you. It will challenge you with losing streaks, false signals, unexpected news, and gut-wrenching volatility. It will lure you with the temptation of easy wins and punish you with sharp reversals. The market will expose every weakness you have. That's inevitable. But here's the difference. A broken trader lets those challenges destroy them. A disciplined trader adapts, survives, and grows stronger. So, what does it take to reach that level? It comes down to two core elements: discipline and resilience. Discipline means you follow your plan no matter how you feel. You don't abandon your rules because of fear, greed, or frustration. You know your edge and you execute it consistently, trade after trade. Discipline is what keeps you grounded when your emotions are screaming at you to act impulsively. Resilience means you don't crumble when losses come. You accept them as part of the game. You learn from them, adjust if necessary, and keep moving forward. Resilience is what allows you to handle setbacks without losing confidence or self-control. It's the ability to take a punch from the market and still stand tall. Think of it like building armor. Every disciplined action adds a layer of protection. Every time you resist revenge trading, every time you stick to your stop, every time you accept a loss calmly, you're forging armor that the market cannot penetrate. Over time, that armor becomes unshakable. And here's something Mark Douglas emphasized: being unbreakable doesn't mean you never lose. It means losses no longer define you. They no longer throw you into chaos. They no longer make you question your worth.
Instead, you treat them as feedback, just data, just another step in the probability curve. This is the mindset of professional traders. They don't measure success by the outcome of a single trade. They measure it by their ability to stick to their edge, to remain consistent, and to protect their capital through any condition. That's why they last while others burn out. Becoming the trader the market can't break is also about identity. You stop seeing yourself as a gambler chasing wins, and you start seeing yourself as a risk manager executing probabilities. You stop asking, will I win this trade? And start asking, did I follow my process? When your identity shifts from outcome chaser to disciplined executor, you've crossed the line into true mastery. And here's the most empowering part. The market loses its power over you. It can no longer manipulate your emotions. It can no longer trap you in illusions. It can no longer break you. Because you've already accepted the truth. Anything can happen. You're no longer fighting reality. You're working with it. That's the transformation Mark Douglas wanted traders to experience. Because once you become unbreakable, trading stops being about survival. It becomes about growth, about consistency, about freedom. So the real question is, are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to drop the illusions, embrace probabilities, build discipline, and strengthen your resilience? Because if you are, then no market condition, no losing streak, no unexpected event can take you out of the game. And that's the essence of becoming the trader the market can't break.
So let's step back for a moment. What have we uncovered together? We began with the illusion that destroys most traders, the belief that the market is out to get them, when in reality, the only battle is within themselves. We explored how thinking in probabilities lifts the crushing pressure of needing to be right and replaces it with calm, consistent execution. We looked at the cycle of emotional trading, fear, greed, revenge, regret, and how discipline frees you from it. We imagined what it truly feels like to trade in the zone, where clarity and confidence flow naturally. We walk through the 5 stages of trader psychology, from unconscious incompetence all the way to mastery. And finally, we painted the vision of becoming the trader the market can't break, a trader grounded in discipline, resilience, and freedom. Here's the bottom line. Success in trading isn't about finding a perfect system. It's about building a mindset that can survive and thrive no matter what the market throws your way. That's the real edge. That's the transformation Mark Douglas dedicated his life to teaching. And if you take these lessons seriously, you can start reshaping your trading journey today. But don't just listen and move on. Ask yourself, which lesson hit you the hardest? Was it the realization that losses are just probabilities? Was it the picture of what trading in the zone feels like? Or was it the roadmap of the 5 stages and finally seeing exactly where you are right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Not only does this help you reflect, but it may also inspire another trader who's struggling with the same challenges. And if this video sparks something inside you, if you felt that shift even for a moment, then I invite you to join us here at MindLock Trading Psychology. This channel is dedicated to helping traders like you master the only edge that truly matters, your mindset. We dive deep into trading psychology, emotional discipline, and the mental frameworks that separate short-lived gamblers from long-term professionals. So if you're ready to keep growing, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you'll never miss the next lesson that could change the way you see trading forever. And if you found value here, give this video a like. It tells YouTube that these ideas matter, and it helps this message reach more traders who need to hear it. Remember this, the market doesn't care if you win or lose, but your mindset determines everything. Build the mindset of discipline, resilience, and probability thinking, and you become unshakable. That's the trader the market can't break. This is MindLock Trading Psychology, reminding you that strategies may come and go, but your psychology will always be your real edge.